Hey guys, welcome to part 8 of my Pokemon Crystal Legacy Hard Mode Nuzlocke Challenge. Last episode I defeat my rival, also got my 7th gym badge, and right now I'm in the basement of Goldenrod City to rescue the chairman of the Goldenrod radio tower. So right here, going through the basement, there's only one important battle, and that's with good old Ito, the Hyuckster. This is the third and final battle with him, and he has a full team of 5, and it's a pretty stacked team. He leads off with a Poliwrath, and I use Gasms, the Meganium, to go with a Giga Drain, and that's just an easy 2-hit KO. His next Pokemon is his Magmar, and at this point it's just switching into the right Pokemon for type advantage. So right here, Gamboa, the Slowking, takes care of Magmar. His Electabuzz comes in next, and Mewtwo, the Golem, takes care of it. Jinx comes in next, and Quit W, the Arcanine, comes in and knocks it out. And then finally, his Rhydon, I use Gasms, the Meganium again, and even though he's paralyzed, gets the knockout. So it's pretty straightforward. And at the end, there's some dialogue on how he's now leaving Team Rocket. After finding the chairman, he gives us the card key so we can go to the other half of the radio tower and confront Archer. But before we can get to Archer, Ariana challenges us to a rematch. Her team is pretty good. She leads off with Arbok, and I lead off with Mewtwo, who's able to get the knockout no problem. She then brings out her Vileplume, and I make a hard switch into Quit W, who gets the knockout with a flamethrower. She then brings out her Gyarados, and this is just a hard switch into Beacon, who gets the one-hit KO with Thunderbolt. And then her next Pokemon is her Persian. Now, I didn't know if Beacon was going to be able to take care of this, but she is able to get the 2-hit KO with some Surfs. And then her last Pokemon is Murkrow, and Beacon just gets the 1-hit KO again with a Thunderbolt. So, great job, buddy. This is why I love Lantern. Alright, so here we go. Now it's time to fight Archer and take down Team Rocket. He leads off with his Weezing, and I lead with Mewtwo. And as I go for a Magnitude, he makes the hard switch into Slowbro. And Mewtwo is not playing around because he hits a Magnitude 10, which doesn't get the knockout, but it does some pretty good damage. I make the hard switch into Gasms, and then Archer switches back into his Weezing. This, I then go back into Mewtwo just to kind of reset everything, and he just goes for a Smokescreen, which isn't bad. I'm able to still stay in because his Weezing can't really do much to me. Mewtwo rolls a Magnitude 7, and as I go for another attack to finish it off, he retreats into his Gyarados, and so right here I then switch into Beacon, who, as we know, is a pretty good certified Gyarados killer, if I do say so myself. Beacon gets the knockout with a Thunderbolt, and this prompts Archer to go back into his Weezing, which makes sense. I don't think he really has a Pokemon that can counter Beacon pretty well, but Beacon is more than fast enough, and he gets the knockout with a Surf. Archer brings out his much scarier Tauros, and I hard switch into Mewtwo, who's actually able to get the 2-hit KO with Rock Smash. I'm glad I have a good hard counter into this Pokemon. Tauros could easily make dents into my team if I didn't have a good bulky rock type. Archer then brings out his Slowbro, and if this thing was still at full HP, it would be pretty scary, but at this time, it's really not that bad. I decided to go into Bansamir because I'm preparing to attack the Houndoom, and I want Bansamir to be as healthy as possible for it. So he gets the knockout on Slowbro with a Bite, and then Archer's Ace Houndoom is here, and it's Bansamir outspeeds, which actually surprised me, and gets the knockout with the 2-hit KO with some Surfs. So this is a really good fight. Archer has really stepped up in this ROM hack. I'm glad they did him justice. After Team Rocket left, I get the clear bell from the director so I can encounter Suicune later. Well, now that Team Rocket's gone for good, it's time for me to make the trip to Blackthorn City. My next encounter is in the Ice Cave, and it is a Swinub. I catch her with no problem, and I nickname her Kokiri. After getting to Blackthorn City, there really isn't much to show off. I challenge Claire's trainers, and then I do some level grinding to hit the level cap of 45, and now it's time to challenge her. She has a really cool dragon team. It's really more themed around serpents and like water dragons and everything, so I really am a fan of this. She leads off with a Dragonair, and Ortega, my Jinx, who makes his debut, gets the one-hit KO with an Ice Punch. She then brings out her Gyarados, and I switch into Beacon. Again, certified Gyarados killer here, and she gets the knockout with a Thunderbolt. This prompts Claire to bring out her second Dragonair, and I make the switch into Ortega again, and she gets paralyzed, but I have the paralysis cure berry just in case for these pesky dragon breaths, and then she gets the knockout with another Ice Punch. Her next Pokemon and the newest inclusion into this team is a Lapras. Now this is going to be a lot more difficult, but I send out Beacon first, and this is a 2-hit KO, and even though I get hit with 2 body slams, I do not get punished for this, especially since I didn't have a paralysis berry. And yeah, Beacon gets the 2-hit KO with Thunderbolt, so really good job. Now finally, it's Claire's ace, and that's her Kingdra. There is a sub-goal I'm trying to accomplish in this battle as well. Claire's Kingdra is the very first Pokemon to have leftovers in this game, and this is the first opportunity for you to have leftovers. I brought Lawn Gnome the Raticate, who's been boxed for a while, and he knows Thief. So basically, this could not have gone more perfect. Gasms hits the Leech Seed, and then gets a body slam that gets the paralysis. Basically, I feel very safe to bring Lawn Gnome in now. So what I do is I hard switch into Lawn Gnome, who actually switches in on the full paralysis, and then I use Thief. She's not holding an item, so Lawn Gnome uses Thief. I steal the leftovers, which I will keep at the end of this battle, and then we get the knockout with a Hyper Fang. So I was really happy to see this go so smoothly, and to not just being Claire deathless, but also getting her leftovers. So now I can put leftovers on some of my more bulkier mons. She is not happy with this defeat, and decides to send me to the Dragon Den to take a test. We make our way into the Dragon Den, or the Shrine, or whatever it's called, and some old elders give us a test. Basically, we say we don't beat our Pokemon, and we pass. Claire comes in embarrassed and begrudgingly gives us the badge and then the Dragon Breath afterwards, and informs us we can now take on the Pokemon League. But before I can leave the Dragon Den, I go back into the Shrine to get my free Extreme Speed Dratini. This is a good power in the PC, a very good Pokemon to have, and I nickname her Benji. The very last thing for today's episode is I go talk to Professor Elm to get my Master Ball, and I make the flight to Ecruteak City to get ready to encounter Suicune. I hope people enjoyed this episode, and tune in for part 9, where I start doing some extra stuff and go to Victory Road.